Hi, my name is Wilman Ziada, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film, and also proud Phoenix Global Artist Ambassador. Today, I am thrilled to be speaking with acclaimed artist, Tori Sparks. For more on Tori, you can read more about her right below this video, but in the meantime, here is a sneak peek at the amazing talent of the one and only Tori Sparks.
Oh, 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 don't make me wait no more. I pray for lightning, I pray for rain, I pray for the phone to ring and you speak my name. Keep the phone on the table by the bed. I keep the receiver right next to my head. Receiver and a razor right next to my head. Back broken from the burden I carry around. It's knowing that my love is running all over town. Time eats away steel, stone and wood. While I'm waiting for you to make good, I waste away waiting here for you to make good. Oh, 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 don't make me wait no more. Oh, 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 don't make me wait no more.
Well, hello, Tori. How are you?
I am wonderful. I'm so glad we got to connect. Thank you very much.
Tori, God bless you and thank you. And I'm so grateful that the audience just got a sneak peek of your incredible talent. Tori, when I'm researching you, I just think of one hashtag, hashtag boss lady, because beyond being an amazing artist, we talked off camera a little bit about it, but you are also an acclaimed businesswoman. Talk to me about the balance as an artist in terms of balancing the art and the business of show business, because you do it really well.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I feel like there's no, in my case, I wish I could say there was a balance, but there's no balance. I mean, I spend 90% of my time with the logistics, the accounting, the organization, the interviews, the promotion, the social media, the derechos de autor, as they say in Spanish, like the PRO stuff. I mean, all these things behind the scene. And then occasionally I get to sing and perform. And the only upside of that other 90% is I don't have to wear makeup while I'm doing it, but it's worth it though, because these days, the upside of the internet and such is that you can get out there to more people. But the downside is that it's not like it was, from what I understand of my older generation friends, it's not like the 60s where they find you, they discover you, you go be a star, no? So it's a lot of work. There's no balance at all. But I feel like with music, and the same thing with theater, the same thing with any art, is a vocation. And if you could do anything else, you probably would if you were a sane individual. So
that's right, because I always like to say, we all ran off to the circus, but you know what? God bless. As hard as it is sometimes, it's worth it in the end.
Yeah, because later after the circus, you go off into normal life to be respectable and normal, and there's no clowns, there's no tigers, there's no bears. You're like, all right, this is boring. No?
Tori, I love that you yes-anded me. Thank you, to use an improv term. But Tori, you're so singular, and I want to just lean into, like, I'm thinking about little Tori. Where were you born, and when did you realize, and maybe looking around, that you were different, but in a good way?
Sometimes I'm not sure still if it's a good way, but now that I've done this for 20 years, people keep paying me, so I'm like, no, it's in a good way. Job, No, I think that music, and I think I've always, it's funny, I think when I was younger, I didn't realize that being different was something people thought was bad. Like I thought it was like, everybody's different, right? And then you realize one day, no, some people are really concerned about what other people think of them. And some people really worry about what happens if this goes wrong. And for me, I really worry about what happens if I don't try whatever it happens to be. So I think that the first wake up point came in the moment when I had to choose between actually theater, which I was doing a lot of, in music. It was like one or the other, because the rehearsals and the gigs were at the same time. So that was hard, but honestly, the harder part came in as an adult, when after having had some successful albums and some notoriety, you have to continue to maintain that and defend that. And I think the most important thing as a musician, though it sounds kind of cliche, but you just have to feel like it's a good idea because you have to live with what you just put out there for the rest of your life. And that's more important than anything else. And I'm sure other people have said something similar, but I don't think that can be repeated enough to other people who are maybe thinking about, should I do this? You know, I think, yes, as long as you feel like I'm willing to go up against all those people that are going to tell me to be something else forever and ever and ever, I'm in. You know?
Absolutely. I mean, look at, and we live in a world where it's easier to be a second-rate version of someone else and harder to be a first-rate version of yourself because that takes work. It takes a lot of introspection, something that I think all of us in some way, shape, or form, whether we're an artist or not, have had to do over the last 18 months. And I'm curious, over these last 18 months, Tori, for you, was there any creative flow that you are excited about in terms of, you know, music and songs that you've yet to release or announce that you're excited to get out into the world?
Kind of, yeah, because although this is something that you don't put on Facebook, I haven't written a song in forever, like and ever, because I've been so busy with the business part, plus bought a house, remodeled a house, and lots of things. But I've been so busy with the business part that it's also after, you know, now the next album will be my 8th or 9th or something like this album. So it's a lot. And it's like, it's not the same as when you're 20 and you're just getting started and you feel like everybody cares about your angst. So it's you know, it's taken a lot for me to get back to writing. And the upside, in an ironic way, of the pandemic has been the way of connecting with a lot of people who've either followed me for a long time or new people who I didn't know in my neighborhood. I used to do concerts every Saturday evening from my rooftop for my neighbors during quarantine. And you connect with people and you realize how much music means to them. And I also lost a really good friend during the pandemic. And after his funeral, which sounds like a moment from a movie, but it's true, after his funeral was the first song I had written in maybe 3 years. So it's like the horror of the pandemic. Of course, I wouldn't wish for that, but I appreciate that it's put in perspective certain things, and I've started writing again. So I have songs I'm happy about for the first time in forever. And now we'll just see if I can convince the band to come and actually play them with me. Otherwise, it'll be an acoustic album.
Well, listen, I wouldn't mind an acoustic album by TORI SPARKS, but that's just me. But, you know, listen, Tori, you also bring up a really good point too, because if you just look throughout history, right, it were the artists that showed us the light and the mirror toward the light in times of darkness. You know, all throughout history, it was the artist and is the artist that has guided the way. And yes, for many artists, this has been a trauma. But the fact that an artist like yourself has obviously done the work on themselves and also their craft for years and years, but the work on themselves to be a vessel during this time. And in your case, and I'm sorry for the loss of your friend, but I can only imagine that your friend looking down from above, or whatever you may believe, or whatever anyone may believe, you know, that you use or that you honor their legacy in their life with you spreading your light and showing other people the power of choosing light over dark. Does that make sense?
Well, that, I think I have one tattoo on my body, and that tattoo means that. It sounds weird to say, but as an odd segue, but I got it when I was 18. And for me, the shape of that tattoo, it doesn't really matter, but the concept of it means if you can take whatever's happening to you in life and turn it into something productive, where you can give something back both to yourself and to other people, then maybe it's not okay, but what comes out of it is positive. And that's how I've always approached music, is because people always ask me, why do you have such dramatic music? You know, aren't you ever happy? I'm happy all the time. I'm like a total payaso, as they say in Spanish, like a clown. But it's like, but music for me is a way to express, like, how do I understand what's happening to me in the world? And when I'm happy, I want to have like a beer with my friends. And when I'm not happy and not content, my soul is not at rest, that's when you write. And with Xavi Mercade, the name of this friend of mine, he was an artist as well. He's a photographer. He took photos of everybody from Madonna, and now I say like a Spanish version, Madonna, the Rolling Stones, to beginning of first gig of their last bands. And he gave so much to so many people. So I felt like that was his ultimate final gift to me, was reminding me, hey, you write a song. Hey, that's what you're supposed to do. It's really beautiful.
I'm sorry.
No,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, it's like that's the weird good part of the pandemic, is these odd, really painfully poignant things that come out of it. You know?
Well, yeah, and they're like almost like these little keys that we didn't know were there, that unlock these little boxes within us. And, you know, when I'm also thinking about, you know, you, Tori, and you had mentioned it, the fact that, you know, at one point in your career, it was between theater and music. And I've had conversations with a lot of artists who were in very similar, I don't want to say predicaments, but crossroads. I love the fact that you were able, and I think this is a good point for artists out there who are at a similar crossroads. What you did was that you created a safe space for yourself to always be the leading lady.
Also, yeah, well, that was part of the reason, was because I love theater. I grew up with theater, doing theater forever, and it helps me a lot with music, because if you understand lighting, staging, it helps so much. But also it comes to the point where it's like, okay, I also write songs, and it's important to me to get that out there, and to a point have a bit more control over what I'm doing. Whereas with theater, it's a beautiful world, and I almost ended up in Spider-Man on Broadway, which is another long story, but it's not like I'll ever forget about the things theater have given me. But it's like, you have to choose at some point, how much control do you want? So my one woman show is what I'm doing basically, and it's not an ego thing. It's about art is already such a difficult world that unless you're the director, which is also difficult, but unless you're the director, you can't impose your vision in the same way that you can as if it's your music. And for me, that's important, because otherwise I would be a cover band and I'd make way more money.
Amen, Tori. Well, listen, I could speak with you forever, but I want to let our audience know, for more on the incredible Tori Sparks, you can read more about her right below this video. Tori, God bless you, and thank you so much for your time today, really.
Well, you too. Thank you. And thank you too for all you've contributed to the world of art and entertainment and theater and life, and also to these FENIX guys who are trying to do something different. Thank you to all of you. I really appreciate it.
God bless you.